Participants' incredible amounts of power, speed, and endurance will be tested here, as that's what's required to lift 4 punishingly heavy objects from the ground to platforms 12 meters away.
Great matchup here to open things. Trey Mitchell, the American, lives in Lumberton, Texas. First appearance at World's Strongest Man. Luke Stoltman of Great Britain resides in Scotland. The 42nd World's Strongest Man final about to begin as we await the whistle of tournament referee and strongman legend Magnus for Magnusson.
I like to call these dynamic movement events where it forces the athletes to use some athleticism as lie detectors. This will expose weaknesses, but right now early on, Stoltman doesn't appear to have any. He's on a roll.
Onto the anvil here. He's got a pretty big lead.
He's doing an excellent job in his transitions, moving from one object to the next. Here's the 300-pound sack. Takes him a little while to get it turned, but once he does, he uses those powerful arms, big tree trunk legs, and back strength to get it up onto the platform.
Perfect form right now for Luke Stoltman, who is 9 years older than Trey Mitchell. And if he can seamlessly take this 300-pound sack to the other end, he will win this early matchup.
Look at him breathe there. He is huffing and puffing, but the first to complete.
Luke Stoltman of Great Britain, and then goes over to help out the American. Trey Mitchell, good effort by both guys.
Impressive by Mitchell. He was there the whole time competing, but it was Stoltman and his experience that gets it done.
Made it look easy in a time of 47.42. And Mitchell was able to get the 4 objects in 52.96.
From start to finish, Stoltman looked in control, but he was really gassed at the end. But he's got to feel really good about this start.
So 2 men have gone, and on to our next pairing. And another man from Great Britain in the final. It's Adam Bishop, 6'3", 313, 30 years of age. In the final for the first time. JF Caron of Canada in the World's Strongest Man final for the 7th time. The 36-year-old who resides in Quebec City.
Ready! Interesting technique there for Caron to start. He had pre-positioned the keg at an angle, which allowed him to pick it up quickly and make it to the platform first.
Onto the anvil, and the lead is JF Caron. It's a bobble there from Bishop, and that's going to cost him mightily.
It's going to cost him big time. That might have cost him this entire event. Unless Caron makes a mistake, which he's not prone to do, going to be really hard for Bishop to catch him.
The first of the 300-pound sacks is on the platform for Caron. He jogs back, and on to the 4th and final object, another 300-pound sack.
Keep in mind, these strongmen are doing this in sand. Look how gassed Caron is, focused, his head's so red, but he gets it done.
JF Caron, impressive. And not bad from Bishop as well, as he gets that second sack up on the platform to complete the task.
Representing Great Britain,
so Adam Bishop will currently be in 4th place.
Representing Canada,
and JF Caron goes into the lead in the loading race. 4 objects, a time of 46.92.
Endurance played a role, but Caron's steady technique proved to be the difference as we see Bishop there in the background struggling. The wily vet using that experience for success.
Welcome back to Manatee Beach, where we continue the first event of the final, the loading race. 4 athletes have competed. JF Caron sets the mark to beat with a time of 46.92. Luke Stoltman right behind at 47.42. 6 athletes remaining. And the first one to talk about is Luke Stoltman's brother. This is Tom Stoltman, another first-time qualifier to the final from Great Britain. And the Georgian bull from the country of Georgia, an absolute monster. Konstantin Janashia, 6'5", 375, 28 years of age.
Not a lot of holes in Janashia's game. Interested to see how Stoltman, there at the right of your screen, can compete, and they are at a dead neck-and-neck tie through the first barrel.
Tom Stoltman in the far lane takes advantage.
Stoltman's athleticism is really on display, but also his technique in transitions almost flawless as he moves through these heavy objects.
One more 300-pound sack for Stoltman. He's got the edge. But if he bobbles, you know Janashia will pounce. But that doesn't look to be the case. Tom Stoltman, impressive. 39.66 goes into the lead. And now Janashia, 46.97 is his time.
Wow.
Put your hands together for Constantine Janashia.
So he goes into third, Janashia does. 4 objects in 46.97. But wow is right. Tom Stoltman goes into the lead here in the loading race.
It was an incredible display by the rookie because in a sport where confidence is a must, Stoltman's balanced style of endurance, strength, and athleticism gets the job done. Let's see if he can keep this up.
Representing the United States,
Martins Licis, the exciting young American. Lives in California, a fan favorite.
Representing the United States.
And Brian Shaw, part of the old guard, a 4-time world's strongest man champion, trying to recapture the glory one more time.
Ready? Great start there by Licis. He started by lifting the keg facing the platforms, whereas Shaw was turned perpendicular to it, and that little difference has made for a much quicker start for Licis as he's just manhandling that anvil and throws it onto the platform.
You want to know what the future of strongman looks like, Aaron Taylor? It's that man in the far lane, the American Martins Licis.
He is dominant right now. Remember, at 355 pounds, this is the biggest he's ever been in this competition, and endurance matters here, but he looks really strong as he's picking up and jogging, basically, with this 300-pound sack towards the platform.
Not enough to unseat Stoltman in the lead in the loading race, but nevertheless an impressive time. And there's Shaw with hands off at 48.47. Disappointing start, obviously, for the veteran Shaw. One of the best ever. He will go into 6th place here in the loading race. And a heck of an effort from Martins Licis. Good enough to get him into 2nd place. Got the 4 objects in 43.81.
That was an important head-to-head competition. And by the time it got to that second punishing 300-pound sack, you could see the strain on Licis' face, but nothing was going to keep him from getting to that platform first, not even a 4-time champion.
You like that matchup? How about this one? Mateusz Kieliszkowski, who I know moment by moment you are getting more and more impressed with. And what more do you want to say about the defending champion, half-Thor Julius Bjornsson?
And he's feeling it, really feeding off the crowd. Now remember, he had that foot injury in the qualifying round, so in an event like the loading race, which requires dynamic movement, that's something to keep an eye on.
Oh, this is a heavyweight battle here. It's a slight edge early on for Kieliszkowski, and now a bobble, and that is a costly mistake as half-Thor dropped the anvil.
Brent, that is a costly mistake. Remember, in last year's final, we saw Martins Licis drop a safe, which cost him some critical points. We might be seeing the same thing play out here this year with last year's champion.
Meantime, Kieliszkowski, 1 more object, 300-pound sack, time to beat 39.66. He's not going to be able to do that. Nevertheless, a nice time for Kieliszkowski, and now Thor with his hands off at 48.17. But you can see the disappointment on his face. And quite frankly, Kieliszkowski was a little bit disappointed as well. But he will finish 2nd place in the loading race in 42.11. half-Thor a disappointing 7th in a time of 48.17.
And it was that costly bobble on the transition to the anvil that was clearly the turning point in this event for half-Thor, which made way for the strong finish by the Polish Punisher.
9.66 seconds. Representing Great Britain.
But the story is Tom Stoltman wins the first event in his first ever World's Strongest Man final. 39.66. Kieliszkowski takes 2nd, 42.11. Martins Licis in 3rd. The 2 former champs, Bjornsson and Shaw, take 7th and 8th respectively.